Okay, so today I am videotaping. My youngest daughter has asked me many times to do this. Videotape making my sauce and our family's favorite ziti. To begin, naturally you need a stock pot. I use 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, the brand of your choice. Quarantine, we're kind of limited, so I usually use Hunt's. Today I'm using Testarossa. You'll need an onion, 4 or 5 cloves of garlic minced, depending on how big the cloves are, some grated Parmesan, some olive oil, parsley, pepper, salt, Italian seasoning, and bay leaf. Okay, so to begin, you put your stock pot on like a medium-high flame. One drawback is I really don't measure anything. So just kind of cover the bottom of your stock pot with your favorite olive oil and let that heat up a bit. Okay, once your oil is heated, you throw in your chopped onion. 1 onion chopped. Okay, we're gonna cook that for a little bit till it's somewhat translucent. You don't really wanna brown it. It's okay if it gets a little brown, but that's not the goal here. Okay. Onions are cooked down a bit. You're going to throw in your minced garlic. If you don't mind getting chunks of garlic, you can always just slice it up too. And then you're just going to stir it a little, maybe a minute or so, just till it's fragrant. And for those of you who don't want to make your own sauce, you can certainly use your favorite jarred sauce. I would get 3 jars because you never want to be short on sauce. 2 ought to do it, but if you like extra, get 3. Okay, now we're going to add our canned tomatoes. And then after this, I rinse my cans a little and I put like maybe 1/3 to 1/2 can of water. It gives the sauce, you know, more workable consistency. And it goes a little further. If you've got a big family, that can mean a lot. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm pouring in some of the water. Mix to combine. Now we go to the seasonings. Okay, as I said, I don't really measure, so if you can kind of watch what I'm doing, I'm gonna try with a teaspoon and see if that's the right amount that I normally use. We shall see. Yeah, about a teaspoon looks about right. I usually just eyeball it. And the same with the pepper. Of course, if you're using a fresh ground pepper, you're probably not going to need as much as you would if you're using an already ground. Okay. Pepper. And some Italian seasoning. Again, I'm going to try and measure it for you because I really don't know how much I put in. But I'm thinking it's also about a teaspoon. That looks about right. Of course, you can never really have too much seasoning. So a little more for good measure. And then your Parmesan cheese. A couple of little handful, fingerfuls, and your parsley. I like a lot of parsley. I just think it makes it look pretty, besides giving it some flavor. As you can see, I just kind of cover the top with it. Okay, I'm gonna stir it around. And in my marinara, I usually put a couple of bay leaves. So, a couple of bay leaves, or one bay leaf in a couple of pieces. Okay, then you're just gonna cover it, let it come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, lower it and simmer it. And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to cook your sauce for hours, particularly a marinara. You only have to, half an hour, 45 minutes tops. And you should have a delicious marinara sauce. Now, if you wanted to add meat, you could use a pound of ground beef, ground pork, ground turkey, whatever you want. You would put that in after your onions and garlic. Okay, and brown it up a little bit, and then proceed with the rest of the recipe. Okay, so while your sauce is cooking, you can get your supplies ready for the ziti part of the recipe. I'm using mastacholi rigati. That happens to be my preference, but you can use regular old ziti, or you can use penne, whatever you want. You'll need a pound of mozzarella and a pound of ricotta. We have a 2-pound container here, but obviously I'm only going to use half. You have 1 egg, you have some Parmesan cheese, parsley, pepper, and salt. Okay, so for the ziti, you can cook your pasta according to the box directions. You don't want to overcook it. You want to try and make it al dente. It's a little firm, so when it cooks in the oven, it doesn't get too mushy. So first we're going to start by trying to open this container, which they don't make easy. Okay, as I said, I'm only going to use half of this because we only need a pound. Although, the more cheese, the better. Let's see. That looks about right. I don't measure. I guesstimate. Okay, so we've got that. Jess, I don't know if you want to bring the camera. Okay. Now we're going to add an egg. Now this recipe is very easy to do, double or triple. It's a pound of everything. So, and an egg for each pound. Okay, there's the egg. Now we're gonna season this. Not too much, just a little to give it a little oomph. A little salt, little pepper, little parsley, little Parmesan. Okay, and we're gonna mix that up. Then we're going to, as you can see, I have cut the mozzarella into like little 1/2-inch pieces. The reason why I do this rather than slice it is I feel you get more evenly dispersed cheese in your ziti, and you should have everyone get a nice dose mozzarella. There you go. And you mix all that together, combine it nicely. And as soon as our pasta is cooked and the sauce is ready, we can continue with the assembly. Okay, before we put the ziti together, I must tell you I forgot a very important ingredient in the sauce, and that's a little bit of red table wine, or any kind of hearty red wine you happen to have around. You don't have to have it, but wine always makes it better. Okay, so I drained my pasta. Normally I would put it in the bowl with all my cheese. Don't have a big enough bowl at the moment. So I did cool off my pot. I don't run my pasta under cold water, but I did run the pot under cold water. So now you're gonna take a little bit of sauce. To keep your pasta from sticking. Sauce is smelling delicious. Or gravy. We used to call it gravy back in the day. Now just a couple of scoops. Right. Mix it around. It's just to keep the pasta from all sticking together. As I said, I don't rinse my pasta. You're more than welcome to do that if you like. Okay, so now we're gonna add the cheese mixture to the pasta. Or vice versa, if you have a big enough bowl. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna mix this all around. And this is one reason why I, chop up my mozzarella. I find that shredded melts too quickly, and the slices just don't get incorporated enough. So this way, we got plenty of cheese throughout the whole dish of ziti. Okay, that's good. Well combined. Now we're gonna take your pan. We're gonna cover the bottom generously with some sauce. A little bit more. Okay, now we're going to put our pasta and cheese mixture in. Ugh, heavy pot. Let's take this out. Okay. Now just even it out in your pan. All right, looks good. Then you're gonna put some healthy scoops of sauce. Again, I just kind of go across it. Looking good. All right. And then finally we're going to sprinkle it. With some more Parmesan. And there you go. A beautiful baked ziti. Now when you cook it, you're going to cook it at 350 degrees. You're going to cover it with some aluminum foil so that you know, the cheese melts and the sauce bubbles up. And then usually, like for the last 15 minutes, I take the foil over because my family kind of likes the little crusty ronies around the outside, but that's not necessary. This is just such a great meal for your family. You know, this should serve 4 to 6, maybe even more if you have little appetites. And it's great for when you're having guests because you can make it ahead of time. You're not stuck in the kitchen. Add a beautiful salad and a nice crusty bread. And voila, you have a baked ziti